So tell everybody about your program of helping podcast folks, because podcasts are coming like crazy. Everybody's starting one, but you help people really stand out in a hurry, don't you?
Yeah, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm looking forward to trying to add value to your listener. And in case if they're going to start a podcast, they want to start podcast, I think it's a perfect episode for them to just kind of at least know what to do. And maybe a couple of them might work with us. Who knows? But just to kind of give you an idea of what it is that we do. We do podcast launches, but when we do a podcast launch, it includes everything. So it's a really full done for you service. When you work with us to launch your podcast, number one, you have three things to do, and number two, it includes everything. So you really just have to sit with me for like an hour or two in the beginning, so I can really extract who you're trying to attract on that show. I figure out everything that you want to achieve. If you want to be making money with the podcast, you want to be attracting clients with the podcast, whatever it is, we just need to sit down for an hour or two and just really understand and identify your goal with the podcast and who you want to attract. And then that's step one. Step two is my team goes to bat for you, so you don't have to do any of this. We create the image, your podcast cover art. We give you several different options of that, and you select the right one for you. And we create the intro copy. We want to make sure that it's short, 15 seconds or less. So write that down. That's super important. So we want to try to make your intro 15 seconds or less, and we write the copy to that, and we try to make sure that it's speaking toward your avatar, like who you want to have on your podcast. That's a critical piece. And then we'll do like the outro as well and your call to action, so that you're going to be getting lots of value by having the podcast. And you just approve of that. So step one, have a call with me. Step two, approve of I call them assets. Step two, so you approve of the assets that we create for you. And step three is you just start pushing record. So what ends up happening is we'll download that. We'll download the podcast recording straight from the cloud, and then we start doing all the post production, writing your show notes, emailing the guests, creating image cards, and we just do all of that stuff. We also pay for marketing, and we guarantee that the show becomes top 10% podcast, or we write you a check for $10,000. So that's kind of what it looks like for us. It's just a full done for you service. We create every single thing that we need after interviewing you, and then you just push record. So it's marketing. It's all of your post production. By the way, we edit the podcast for an entire year, and we give you a launch plan. We help you launch your podcast to be able to grow and be in front of more people.
Now, can you, with all this experience you have with podcasts, can you relaunch one? Can you take someone that's already started and maybe be fumbling or stumbling and put them through a similar process?
Yeah, we do that. There's a lot of people. I mean, it's been said that 90% of podcasters have almost no listeners,
Mm-hmm.
and so that happens a lot. There's people that launched their podcast that's been maybe around for 6 months or even a year or few. One of our podcast clients that allows me to talk about his story. His name is Chris Miles from the Chris Miles Money Show, and he really started out having less than 100 ratings and reviews and nowhere near the downloads that he wanted. And so we did exactly what you said. We helped him to be able to grow that show, relaunch, get in front of people. And I think he went from maybe 2-ish hundred. It's not in front of me, but it's like 2-ish hundred downloads per day to like 9-ish hundred downloads per day.
Wow.
So more than quadrupled his total downloads. And by the way, I talk in downloads per day, but if you do the math, it's like from 6,000 up to, whatever. What is 900? What is 900 times 30?
27 million. No,
900
27,000, I think.
times 30. Yeah, 27,000. So it went from like 6,000 to 27,000 downloads per month. And I mean, he's so happy because like just tons of new clients. He does well financially when he has a new client work with him, and just he's getting so many more clients calling him. And so we do that. We definitely do that. We do it a lot because 90% of the podcasts out there probably aren't getting the downloads that they wanted.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think I'm close to 400 episodes, and I think I have total 200 downloads.